Hi, everybody. Here we are. My dog was helping. He wants to play. So hopefully he's not gonna try to take over. Um, I'm glad he
He
wants to
might.
play, but his timing is all kinds of off right now. Anyway,
Hmm.
see,
What's, what's
he's
up, people? What's going on, folks? I hope everybody's well tonight. All the worthy and folks, you guys are well, and that you guys like hearing the truth, seeking the truth. Smash that, hit the like button, share, and subscribe, man. Uh, get this thing out there, man. We're trying to do what we can to enlighten the public, to enlighten all you folks, man, the truth seekers. And tonight, we're going to do a little something different, people. I want to allow my woman, my wife, my one and only, not allow her, but I'm going to give her a little interview and let her explain to you guys, how, the rough part of the life and tell you a little bit about herself and so on, and, educate y'all on her perspective, convict's wife perspective on this stuff, that we go through and hear and that she's witnessed herself, right? So, baby girl, you want to tell them anything before we get started?
tell
Yeah,
you
you good? You
anything?
ready? You ready?
I guess
You want
so.
to say something to the people
I,
before
I,
we
I, I
get started?
do want you to try to take the feedback off your phone. So no.
Okay. Well, I don't know if I can do that. I think you know that already.
Sometimes you
I'll
can
turn
get
it down a little
stop
bit. Maybe that'll help.
a little bit.
I'll turn
Yeah,
it down some.
there you go.
But what's happening is usually when they're listening in on my calls and that hollow fucking tube sounding, that's what they're doing. But yeah. So I guess I'll start. I'm not the best at doing interviews, of giving questions and shit. So I'll do the best I can. I'll make it really smooth, hopefully. First of all, I think we need to tell the people a little bit about you personally as a person, and
Okay.
what drives you in life. Tell the
Hmm.
people what gives you motivation in life, baby girl. Like what you like to do out there other than going after the prison system. What motivates you? Like what is your this call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
See, even Global
What's
Lena's
your
telling
what's
you to
your
let me talk.
Go ahead. Well, tell the people.
Hey everybody. Okay, so as you can see, I do like to draw. I really do. This is my energizer. I started drawing when I was old enough to pick up a pencil, and over the years, some weird stuff happened, and I kind of forgot I was an artist, which is kind of crazy. And then, a few years ago, I was able to, well, a little more than that, maybe 10 or 15 years ago, I tried to get back in it, and it was really, 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 really painful. And in the last 5 years or so, it is now my energy. It truly makes me feel like I'm spiritually fed when I draw, more so even than painting. And so you can say that is my true nature, I guess. Um,
What else?
I also am pretty darn clever in the kitchen, and I really love to cook.
Yeah.
And it really kills me that I can pretty much cook anything, and I can't give my husband any of it, and that's just, I don't know. If there's one thing that makes me happy is feeding my loved ones, and this has probably been the biggest challenge of all, is just feeling so inadequate in that manner that I see you going through your lack of nutrition struggles, and here I am living high on the land, and I can't do anything for the
Mm.
man I love in that respect.
Uh, yeah. Yeah, you do like to cook, I know that. And I definitely like to eat, so that's a good combination, I think. But I need to get there so I can eat some of that good shit.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, uh, like so. Most of the time we're either doing prison stuff, right, or we're doing stuff advocating against prison and so forth. But I know you like the dogs, right?
Oh, I
And
love the
I know you
big
really.
dogs. Yep, I sure do. And y'all have heard Baxter, and uh, yeah, I know you can't see my face because that's my shtick, honey. Hang out and you'll learn a little more. Um,
Well, that. Oh yeah.
the
Yeah. That.
newcomer.
That.
It's a newcomer. How are you doing?
Yeah, man. What's up?
But we'll get to
So,
that. Okay.
well, let me ask you real quick. I'm going to ask you. Hold up. Why is it that you don't show your face on the video? What is it?
Why don't I
Don't.
show my face on the video?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, well,
Yeah.
first and foremost, um, I've been, I'm an '80s kid, and all this internet stuff is kind of, not part of my true authentic self. But I know that I have to utilize it in order to do what we got to do. And one thing I notice is there's a lot of vanity and look at me and all this kind of
Mhm.
self-serving behavior,
Mhm.
and which is fine for what they're doing, because that's basically what they're doing. They're doing them. I'm not doing me. I'm doing our message and this cause. And I feel
That's
that
right.
if my face is up there, it'll take away from the message, which has nothing to do with me. Nothing. And
Yeah,
I
because
don't
you're
want
so beautiful. You're so beautiful, and the message is so ugly of corruption.
I don't want my
I.
face associated with this ugly truth, other than our efforts. I don't want it to
Yeah.
become my identity. That's not who I am.
No, I get it.
And
I
so
understand. I understand.
and I'm also a very private person, and I don't think
Right.
that I would do what we're doing for any other reason. I certainly wouldn't do it to draw attention to me.
Mm.
No way.
Right. Right.
You know,
I,
I'm
I I know you. I know. I know you well enough to know that. Right.
so,
I
and
really do.
Brant's hearing this for the first time. He never knew why I didn't want to put my face on camera. And
But I mean, that answer fits who you are, and it fits what I know.
mhm.
And
Mhm.
that's a fact. But
Mhm.
like, okay, so uh, let me see here. What led you to me? What led you to want to write me? And you know, find a friend
How did I
or
find
uh,
you? How did I find you?
yeah. What led? Yeah.
Well, it's a
Right.
funny
Right.
story. So, okay, about 5 or 10 years before I did write you, I'd say it was more like
Yeah.
10 years before. A friend of
This
mine,
call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
a friend of mine had mentioned readaprisoner.com, and I thought that was kind of funny and a little bizarre. But
Right.
and the funny thing is
You have
that
60 seconds remaining.
that particular friend is that person
Uh-huh.
who told you what they told you about The Walking Dead. Remember that moment when we were watching The Walking Dead?
Yes.
That person.
Yep. Okay. Let me call back.
So, anyways, um, I think I'll wait for him, and so he can participate in this. Uh, huh. We got some strange ones here. Okay. Um. So I was inspired to do this setup because of how um, bizarre I think what goes on in the internet is, and there was this little trend going on where these girls would spend 2 hours telling a horror story while putting on their makeup. And I just thought that was the weirdest thing in the world. Why would you do that? And so they're telling this horror story and they're putting on their makeup and they're showing all the whole world how to put on their makeup. Like who gives a fuck really? So in the same tone
Well,
of telling a story while having something completely irrelevant going on visually, I thought why not just draw or paint?
right.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's been my little stick, my little spiel is to have something going. I don't know how much of
Mm.
it you can see, but I do post images of it on our Instagram. So if you want to see my artwork, it's on
Right.
Instagram. And the idea is to help use the art to promote what we're doing. Uh, if I
Right.
do sell anything, it goes to support our cause. I don't really
Right.
care about selling my artwork. I'm kind of attached to it. So,
Mm. Yep.
anyways, back to
That's
the
right.
question that you were
So,
asking.
yeah.
How did I
Right.
come across you? So, okay, so I'm up there in Washington and I don't know anybody and my whole family's there, but we're all kind of spread out and it's sucking really bad. It's always cold, it's always raining. It's just me and my dog. And I remember that time that friend mentioned uh,
Yeah.
writeaprisoner.com. So I was
Right.
like, what the fuck? So I started going through it. And it's like, even though I was in Washington, I'm a California girl. And it's like, hey, California, yay. And
That's right. That's right.
so I got this crazy notion that my sense of isolation really required somebody who could
Mm-hmm.
relate to and understand. And, I was really being, I think, spiritually guided because I did not know what I wanted is what I wanted when I wanted it, but what I wanted was to be understood.
Right.
I wanted to have
Right.
a friend that I could communicate with. And chance had it that, you would be the person I would write to. Now, the funny
Right.
thing is I was looking through these pictures
This call and your telephone number will be
and
monitored and recorded.
I don't know anything about anybody. It's just got, kind of like their what they're arrested for and how long they're in there for
Right.
and
In their profile.
mm-hmm, and their
Their
personal stuff they
profile
want to
pic.
show. And the craziest thing of
Right.
all was I wrote to somebody and
Mm-hmm.
they said, okay, I didn't even know where I was writing to or what. I had no idea I was writing into the Pelican Bay shoe. I just picked a personality picture of somebody. Okay, this guy looks interesting. There's no thought at
Right.
all about where it was or what situation it was. And we're talking. I've known people in and out of prisons. I've been arrested myself, even though I managed to stay out of the system. I faced jail, and I was like, oh hell, nope, 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 don't want to do none of that, and cleaned up my act, got right, got straight, and never did anything stupid to that degree again. And
Well,
so
well, that's good then.
so anyways, I was dabbling in curiosity, and
Right.
I wrote this fella, and and he told me, well, he's kind of busy. Would I write to his friend? And I'm like, no, sure, why not?
Mm-hmm.
He asked the right way. He didn't just pass it off. He was polite about it, and
Right.
I remember he introduced you to me as a solid 6'2", eyes of blue, solid wood. I'm like, all right, what the hell? And you know,
Eyes of blue.
eyes of
That's
blue,
right. Well,
6'2", eyes
that's
of
how we
blue,
met.
solid wood. Yep.
Okay, so go ahead.
And
Finish.
then we began our correspondence. And
Mm-hmm. That's how it all started.
that's how it
I
all
told the
started.
people that before. That's how it all started. I wanted them to know how you looked at it, and that's a good little rundown right there, baby
Mm-hmm.
girl. So that leads me into the fold that we're, to this wrinkle that we do in this dumbass, this fucking poor ass prison life, and I know it's hard on you. And
Well, I had no intention of finding a partner. I just wanted to talk to somebody who wanted to go deep. That's all.
right, and that's right. And but fate had it, and the cosmic
And
courses of love aligned, and look what happens.
it's crazy too because I could have ended up talking to anyone or anything and just really been exposed to some weirdo shit. And so
Right,
this is what
right,
I truly believe in my heart and soul is that I was spiritually led. I was spiritually led to um,
well,
because when I first took the first step, I prayed. I said, look, God, I'm doing all I can. I'm good with me. I'm solid. I'm happy, but I'm lonely. And I don't have anyone to
right,
talk to. The kids
right,
are busy and the folks are far away. And the people
yeah,
I meet are shallow or insincere, it was just the few people I met were
bunch of
just
surface,
so strange. Strange enough to
surface
drive
level.
me to go find somebody who had a long commitment in prison.
Right, right,
And that tells
right.
you anything.
Well,
But I truly believe that I was driven by a spiritual um, path. That
okay.
you know,
Oh,
uh,
right.
previously to our meeting, I read a book called the Purpose Driven Life, and
Mhm.
that was a real eye opener and a game changer for me. The
Right.
there's more to life than just Cheerios and football.
Absolutely. Or honey and fucking gold. Yeah, I get it. You're right. And it was something spiritual, and it was something beyond this shit. And it has to be. I
Mm-hmm.
believe.
Mm-hmm.
Because
And
you could have picked you could have picked anybody.
I could exactly.
I mean, anyone. And something happened where the forces of the universe drove you to my path and my path to your path, and man, you know, thank God for sending me an angel. I know that much.
Well, and then
But check out this.
it grew beyond just us. There's more to
Right,
us than us, and clearly, this is what we're doing here now. This isn't about.
absolutely enlightening the folks we're talking to right now, man. And the struggle's real. The
Yep.
struggle is real, but
Yep.
I find it myself when we are when we are challenged in the pressure's on, we bob down together and we use our heads as much as we can, man. And
Right.
I tend to believe that the cosmic stars align for us to meet and our paths to cross. Now, this brings me to this next question, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, since being with me, right,
Mm-hmm.
and what have you learned? Like I know you said you've met a lot of, well, you met people in and out of prison and all this and all that. But what? Okay, before you met me and after you met me, your image and your perception of the prison system and CDCR, what like what was it? What's the main thing you learned on about CDCR since you've been with me? Like, what is your perspective on this stuff?
Okay,
What is
honestly,
your perspective?
honestly, before I met you, my perception of prison was that that's what happens when people fuck up. You go to prison. And that's
Right,
really all I knew. I knew a little bit of, what they show you in the movies or whatever, but
right.
I had
Mm-hmm.
no idea the level of corruption that was really, what we deal with today. I
Going
didn't have a
on.
clue. All I thought was, well, I get to know this guy. I like him. He tells me these really far out stories about what he's dealing with. And I'm just like so
Mm-hmm.
incensed by it. So,
Right,
like, are you fucking kidding me? This is okay to do to people. Mm-mm.
right,
And it
right.
started with the medical malfeasance and
Right. That shit we're
oh
dealing with
boy,
today.
and I tell you what, that was probably the biggest learning curve I've ever overcome.
Right, right. Now, so, so let me ask you this, baby girl.
Uh-huh.
These people we're talking, all our listeners out there, all you guys, you know, would you tell them? What would you tell them about the you guys' hard-earned money, taxpayers' money, and stuff? Do you actually, since you've been with me, do you actually feel taxpayer dollars are being spent wisely on how the prison system is being ran? Like, what's your opinion on that? Like, what is your opinion on that?
Well, I really, that's a broad question, and it's a full question. I believe that if people
Well,
really knew the truth about how much money was squandered or used to reward ill-gotten or horrible evil actions in the name of saving money, um
right.
they would probably
Right.
wonder what kind of world is this really, because you know I used to think that
Mm-hmm.
what I lived, everyone else lived. Oh, you go to school, you go to
Right.
work, you go to the store, you go on vacation, you know.
Yeah, the normal free life. The normal free life's the status quo. Right. I get it.
Right. And
Yep. Right.
I can't even wrap my head around that kind of lifestyle anymore since
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten serious about this journey. Um yeah, it's nice to take a break or whatever, but I feel so called to duty in everything that I'm doing these days, as if um, everything I do has a purpose, and it's like
Right.
I am not living for myself anymore. I am living
Right.
for the message. And what I
Good.
get to do for myself is my artwork, is my cooking. That there is no pleasure in being what's that word, where you're just um being comfortable has become uncomfortable.
Right. No, I get it.
And,
Absolutely.
and there's no comfort in not providing or doing or making something bigger
This
than
call
me.
and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
If it is not bigger than me, it then it's
Uh,
petty or it's huh. Let me
You have
just
60
say,
seconds remaining.
all right, let me call
let
back.
me call back. There's more to life than watching TV and having a snack. And that seems to be like the ultimate goal these days. Oh, get a moment to sit back and have a snack and watch TV, but it's like, why? Why when there's so many other things we can be doing? Every 15 minutes.
Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Okay, so hi Tim.
Right.
I'm
What's up, Tim? I said,
I
Mom.
wonder.
What's that? What do you wonder?
I'm I'm gonna give.
Huh?
I believe I just gave Tim a fucking wrench. Um, I need some help because I'm noticing the chat and it's like out of control. I don't know what's going on in there, but
Okay.
I need some help, dude. If you could help me and get the garbage out. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well,
um,
I don't know what you're chatting about, but
uh, right on. Happy to help. Thank you, dude. Thank you. Thank you for showing up. So, anyways, I really want to touch back on some of this what happened spiritually on our path. So when COVID happened, our whole lives got turned upside down, and
right.
you were going through some horrible stuff. This was when they were torturing you in the PSU, and
Right.
and you wanted me to do something akin to what we're doing now, and
Right. Well, how did you learn about this stuff?
well,
Like
here,
what?
no, let me get there. No, let me get there. So, um, I floundered for about 6 months. I floundered, and then I connected with a wife of a friend of ours, and
Right.
she taught me the tools. She showed me the tools of how to do our
Right.
previous videos with Power Director, and for that
Okay.
I'm so grateful and so appreciative. But
Okay.
before that,
This
we've
call
been
and your
talking.
telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
We've been talking a lot about what can we do? What can we do to get out the message? And she had already
Right.
started some stuff of her own, and she said,
Yeah.
"Well,
Project.
why don't you do something, an image to help with the recognizing the which the unity of the races, right? The three races.
Right.
Okay, so
Right.
from that was born the drawing that you've all seen that I use on the covers for a good portion of these live videos.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and that was the inspiration for that, and I think she's pretty blown away with what I actually came up with, because is so much more. Than it's excuse me, is an allegory of what I have been through with you and witnessing what has been going on. And my journey is basically in that drawing. You can see, I
Right.
as an observer, what how I
Yeah.
saw it. Um, none
Okay.
of it
Now,
was good. But wait. So I had to get confirmation. I had to get some answers. And I'm not a religious person. I'm certainly of no certain faith, but I do believe in God. And something told me I needed to go to a local church for clarity. So I went. I went and um I spoke to the pastor, and the pastor, I kind of showed him a little bit of what I was doing, and he's like, "Well, what is it about this guy? And I think you could do better, and blah blah blah." And I was like, "Okay, totally shut down from that." But thank goodness, before I spoke to him, I listened to his sermon, which was about Paul and how Paul um, blew down through his faith, blew down the prison walls, and everybody left. And
yeah.
that was exactly what I needed to hear to pursue
Right.
these videos and
Okay.
this path that we're on today. Sorry, I didn't mean to take so
Okay.
long to answer that question, but I
Yeah.
really I
Yeah.
really wanted
That
to
was
touch on that.
okay. Yeah, well, people got to hear the details, man, and that's where it's all at, right?
And then after that, I was really committed to making these
Yeah.
videos and taking it as far as we could go. So,
Right.
you
Now,
know,
I mean, look, man. I mean, the heart of this here is uh, how we got here, this journey and shit, right? Now, and making our videos, and then I remember when we were going through all that, there was a lot on my plate and your plate, you know.
yep,
And I know you had to go over. You learned a lot by trial and error and shit like that, and you did the best you can, man. And now, let me ask you this: what, like, doing this on this journey that we're on, battling the corruption, battling the people that are paid fucking, they're paid
goons.
they're paid torturers, basically. They're taking in your all's money. They're getting paid by you guys. Let me ask you this, real simple question. What do you think about an officer that was worked for 2 years making $160,000 a year? What's your opinion of an officer making $160,000 a year as a taxpaying citizen?
Okay,
What do you feel about that?
let me put things into perspective a little bit. Okay, that guard has all the training of a 6-week course, and okay, I've been a professional cook and chef for most of my life. I remember working $5, $8 an hour. I was
Right,
thrilled. I was thrilled to get
right,
25 bucks an hour. And that was at the end of my career, where I had spent about 80% of it developing and learning my skills. Um,
right.
so, by the time I was making 25, 30 bucks an hour, I was the shit, right? Okay.
Yep,
But then, body burnout after 30 years. So,
yep.
and now, people balk at the idea of paying more than, a couple $100 for a portrait. And if you see my work, you know I put my heart and soul into every piece I do, and they're stunning. So I don't try to sell art because it's way more personal. So okay, all that
What,
skill,
get to the question.
all that skill, all that ability, and yet these bozos that stand around looking at their cell phones and eating fat lunches and maybe have to like deal with some bullshit J Cat, fucking complain about
Right.
walking you to your showers, complain about walking you to your yard, getting that kind of
Right.
money. How do you think I feel? How do you think
Disgusting.
I feel?
I know that. I know how you feel, but I want the people to know
I
as
feel
a free
like
citizen.
I have been violated. That's how I feel.
Right. Right. I mean, how can you not? I mean, look.
Well, and it's personal because I have a loved one in
uh,
there, and they take great effort in causing you to suffer. It's not enough to just have you locked away, but the added suffering, the food torture, the medical malfeasance, the hurry up and wait game, the sleeping on concrete, the horrible little bit of nutrition I can afford you. They don't even allow me to buy you food that's healthy, and I'm lucky if I can even get you supplements. It's crazy. And that's on me on top of everything that we spend to pay these assholes straight out of pocket. So how do you think I
mean,
feel?
you're talking 160 G's a year, 2 years in the system, 2 years into the system of tier cop, a fucking goon, doing a door check, tapping the door every 30 minutes, making $160,000.
That's heavy lifting, isn't that? That's their heavy lifting. Is their their pipe walk?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Now let me ask you. Okay, so, and I'm pretty sure all our listeners they're probably all thinking the same fucking thing. But here's the facts. The facts are the facts. They make a lot of money to do nothing.
Well, virtually nothing. I mean, they bring you your food, and they walk the nurses around to give you your medicine, and you have to argue with them about doing it in a timely fashion. They're all about regimen, but they don't give you jack diddly shit. And then they complain when they have to do their duties.
Okay, now listen now. So, now what about this? What about when you come to visit me, right?
Uh-huh.
When you come to visit me, your experience when you arrive at a prison and how you're treated and how
this call and/or telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Okay, I think I know. You want me to just explain what it's like to walk through the process and how it makes me feel?
No. Yeah, well, no, not really. I mean, because you can, but I'm looking for your view on how petty they are. Like, when they say we get an hour behind class, and yet they got all booths open for 2.5 hours after us, and nobody.
Let me
shit
go
like that, right?
Let me paint a couple of scenarios, okay? Every prison is
Go
different.
ahead.
Every prison is different, and I've been through a few. Some are worse than others. Some are pettier than others. Some just don't give a crap. Some are super stringent. But the thing is they make sure that you're as uncomfortable as possible. They make you sit on these ridiculous like wooden circular pedestal. I mean, you can maybe squeeze a chair in there, softer chair. Somebody who's got issues like myself sitting like that for more than an hour is painful anyways. But when you travel a certain distance and you can't come very often, it's written right there in the Title 15 an extension of at least another hour. They don't say just another hour. They at the discretion of of whoever's in charge. But the truth is they're either gonna just give it to you or they're not, and
Right.
most of them aren't gonna give it to you because they take pleasure in making people miserable, and I just don't understand
Mm.
why. How do you live your life being that fucking miserable and going
Right.
out of your way
Right.
to make other people miserable who are just trying to bring joy to somebody, you know?
Well, not only that, give us what we got coming, basically, because the Title 15 does say
Well, yeah,
what you said.
but they get it. There was one where it's
You have
like
60 seconds
they
remaining.
absolutely refuse to give it, and then they're like, okay, well, you can have that first hour on Saturday, and you come back Sunday because you just traveled like
Right.
400 miles. You're staying
Yep.
overnight. You're coming the next day, and then they're like, well, you were here yesterday, so you don't get that, and that's just
Right.
straight bullshit, you know?
And they're not, and it's not like, I want to add to this. It's not making them do more work. It's not making them do less work. They're not doing any work, but leaving you there,
Right.
Based on space availability,
Right.
and based on their own Title 15 rules
Right.
of an extended visit,
Right.
because you travel over 250 miles every 30 days.
Right.
And so,
Well, even
that's what I want.
even at SAC where
wanted
you're
to
at, even at SAC where you're at, it doesn't matter because almost all the non-contact booths are empty. Why does it matter that I should be done in an hour? It shouldn't. He's gonna call back. So visiting is they make it as unpleasant as possible. His dad went to see him, and it was so hot in the booth for him, and I've seen him suffering in the booth, but I hadn't gone this summer yet because it's just been so unbearably hot the last few weeks that he's in there suffering. I don't want to sit and look at my loved ones suffering. I don't want to. And they do it on purpose. The rest of the place is ice cold. Cold hallways, a cold main room. It's a choice they make to be as petty and mean as possible. It makes no sense. Makes no sense whatsoever.
California State Prison for Prospect, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid. Thank you for using Global Townlink.
There you are.
All right.
Oh,
I'm back. Yeah, I was having trouble. With my fucking tablet all of a sudden, but let me see here.
All right, I'm upsetting the dog. Okay, he's over here worried about mom getting all upset and rattled up. Yeah, that's what the place does to you. It triggers you. It just gets you worked up.
Yeah.
It's frustrating because you know it's wrong. They know it's wrong. They want you frustrated. They want you upset. They want you to not have a good time. And yet they claim that
they want it unpleasant.
That family is the most important thing. They do everything to go out of their way to disrupt it. Okay.
Now, okay, so there's that. Now let me ask you this: what like if someone's got a family member in prison who's struggling with medical, or something going on with the person, with their loved one. Well, let's stick to the medical, right? Because you know a lot about that. You know a lot about the avenues to take and what to do. What is your advice? What would you give the people that we're talking to if they got a loved one?
Oh, I don't think I know a lot. I don't think I know a lot of what's going on, but I have a lot of experience. And
but what I'm saying though, wait a minute. What I'm saying is, what advice would you give somebody for a loved one in prison on how to battle the medical system?
Here's the most important thing that you can do is listen to your loved one and absolutely know that he's sincere in his complaints, and then do your research, find out medically what's going on with him from what he's telling you, and then you start hammering on the employees in the medical. Now, for me, well, CCHCS has red flagged me, and they absolutely refuse to give me any timely reports because of the way in which I addressed it. But I'll tell you what, and I'm kind of proud of this. But
Yeah.
I got Brant kicked out of Pelican Bay twice over
She
medical.
did, folks. I'm telling you.
I was
It's not me. They're tripping on her. They don't.
I was such a bear to the medical,
Yeah.
but it was Dr. Sayre. And I want you all to look at this report that I put in
Devastating.
in the description box in the previous video titled uh,
The setup has arrived.
"The Setup Has Arrived." In the description box is an article by Dr. Allen and it really lays it down, and we were right in the middle of all of that. 2010, 2014. We were right there dealing with all this shit, and I would get on the phone every single day and call the CME and demand a report on my husband's health because he had failed back surgery, and they were going to leave it. They were just going to let him go crippled. And I didn't let that happen. And it was determination. Right. We have a little saying: "Don't get mad, get determined." And that has carried us through a lot.
Yeah. Now, would you tell the people, like, so when they're doing their advocacy, make calls to the CMO, the CME,
okay,
CCH,
make your calls, but also write your letters, because the calls don't mean jack diddly. When you write that letter, that is solid evidence. That is proof that you have communicated. And then I cannot stress this enough. Carbon copy, send it to other agencies, other representatives of the truth, be it attorneys or the press or other advocates. Send it to the administration at the prison. They hate that. They absolutely hate that. But I'll tell you what, it gets noticed. And certainly things are starting to look a lot like maybe people are starting to pay attention to what they're doing. And they hate that. And that's what needs to happen. We need to develop 100% transparency on this agency that takes the lion's shares of your tax dollars, gives it to buffoons and untrained non-professionals or abusive professionals. You would not believe what these PCP doctors make, and don't let them take advantage so much. We're all being punished, not just prisoners, us taxpayers. Taxpayers are huge victims in all this. I mean, there's a remedy to this prison complex, and they don't want it because it'll take away from this greedy monstrosity they've got going.
Right. So, okay, let me bring me to this, right? When I was in Corcoran, I was having some medical issues, and you remember this. And you had called down there or something. Maybe I was leaving there, or I was on my way here to meet folks. Well, a doctor told you what? What did the doctor down there tell you?
This is when Brant developed his heart condition, and it was really bad. And they had taken away his his support, uh, uh, like his cane and a wedge pillow. They'd taken these things away from him as he was still healing from massive back surgery. Was that your third back surgery, I think?
Yes,
Second or
yes, he
third?
was. My third back surgery.
Third back surgery, and he needed what little support he had. Uh, the wearing of the brace
Hmm.
and
The cane and the wedge,
they took away the
all of it.
cane, they took away the wedge pillow, they took away the morphine he had. He was like on almost virtually no
Right,
pain medicine at all, and it was
right.
super hot. There was no air, and he had developed a heart condition. And I was battling the doctor at the time. Should I mention who they
Uh-huh.
were? Dr.
Yeah,
McConnell, Dr.
absolutely. What's the
McDonald,
names of
Dr.
the doctors?
McDonald, and she
This
just
call and or
dismissed.
telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
She just dismissed him, and it was like maybe a 2 week, 2 week to a month. I'm not sure how long. I don't know how he survived this, but I got a phone call as he was being transported to um, New Folsom on the indictment. Right, it was on the
Right,
indictment. Get a phone call from Dr. Russell, who is the CMO or
right.
CME there, or maybe she's in
She's a CME.
Sacramento. I'm not sure, but she straight up told me, "Yeah, well, we've been doing a little experiment on your husband to see how he does without these things." So experimentally, they gave him a life-threatening heart condition,
Yeah,
which
yeah, that's what they did. That's what they did. And when you guys read that article, I mean that paperwork in the description box of that video we just did last one, the setup has arrived. You're going to see their mindset of Dr. Scher, Michael Scher.
yeah, and it still continues on.
It's
Systemic. It is an institutionally systemic protocol that they minimize and pretend it's not happening, but they're still doing it on the sly everywhere.
Right.
And they use it.
It's more prevalent now than ever. It's more prevalent now than ever because there is no more watchdog. There is no more federal receivership. It's over. It's over.
Absolutely. Completely absorbed by CDCR.
Absorbed. That's a perfect word for it.
Absorbed. Yep.
Now, okay, so, let's see here. I have another couple questions.
Well, he's looking at that. What I'm drawing here is empty crackpots, because that's all I see anymore when it comes to politics and professionals is empty crackpots. So that's my political art there, folks. Go on, babe.
Right. Now, as an advocate for corruption, against corruption, and for the prisoners' rights and reform and shit, like what would you say that similar situated folks that going through what we go through, what do you think we all ought to do? Like should we unite to fight and keep going, or you think we should fight it on an individual basis? Where do you think the power lies in fighting corruption?
First of all, I want to say, yes, Paul G. It is that doctor who said, snitch and I'll fix your back. That's Dr. Sayre.
Yep, that's him. That's him, Paul. That's the dude. That's the one.
He's dead now, sadly. I wish he was still alive so we could, really put him out to dry, but he conveniently retired and died. Good for him.
Yeah, he's pushing up days now. Good for him.
But, okay, so what would I do?
Okay, my question was.
Yeah, what would I say to help others do it or do it? Okay, first of all.
No, but wait, baby. Wait, it wasn't that. It was, my question was, is it best to fight individually or as a united front against the corruption, or
this call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
This has been my experience, okay? This has been my experience. And this is the hard part, okay? For every prisoner who has a loved one out here fighting, there's probably 20 that don't. And half of those don't have anyone at all. So 9 out of 10 people who have people, they're not doing hardly anything at all. They're just sucking it up, and this is, we got to do this because Junior fucked up or whatever. But this has been my experience, and this was my experience through the hunger strikes and everything else. There's always going to be individuals who are like myself, who have the initiative to pick up a sword, or maybe we've always had that sword in our hand and have found a battle worthy of it. And then there's joiners. There's joiners. I don't see anybody following me, but I certainly do a lot of damage for the cause. And yet there's other people who can rally the troops and do things like go in front of places and protest and make noise. And like I've never been able to fit in, so to speak. And then when like it was happening, it was not that inclusive of I'm sorry to say this, but it didn't feel comfortable to white people. For me as a white person, I did not feel welcome in the fight. But I never didn't support it.
Seconds remaining.
I never didn't support it. I always supported it, and I was always a believer. And I got real incensed when 2013 was more important than 2011, because 2011 was the apex of the hunger strikes. So to really express an answer to that question, I'd have to say it's how you experience it. Not everyone's equipped, like I said, not everyone's equipped to fight that battle. And I'm not going to carry anyone.
An incarcerated individual at the California State Prison for Presa, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. Thank you for using Global Counting.
Yeah, it is hard to get a group of people to stay on the same page. See, when the hunger strikes first started, we were already deep in this medical problem, and Brant had told me April of 2011, sound the horns. I'm like, all right, and I got out there, and I actually had over 5,000 people on Facebook following, but I was not, and I've never been much of a Facebook user, and it was an event instead of a page. So I lost most of those people, and I started up another page, but I haven't really been involved in it in the last couple of years because it's taken such a different course. But they were just interested. They were just supporting in their membership. They weren't really organized. I wasn't. I don't organize people well. If you say do this job and delegate responsibility, I can do that. But as far as like, all right, I'm here, I'm doing this, people show up and say, what can I do? Well, that hasn't happened yet. Okay, so I don't recruit. Obviously, I don't advertise very well either, but I will climb to the top of the mountain and I will shout to the valley and do my damnedest to make sure it gets heard.
That's what I'm talking about. Woo. Oh, get on, baby girl. That's what I'm talking about, right? Get on. But I want to let me give a little context here in my own words. When we did this hunger strike shit back in the day,
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
2011, right? Was it 2011? Yeah.
Yes.
2011. Well, so a lot of people. Let me tell y'all something real quick. Now I'm going to take a minute to give some context. Well, when we start doing this strike stuff, and we start promoting the formal letters on behalf of all prisoners in blue, all prisoners in Pelican Bay SHU, Corcoran SHU, wherever you're at, it was like it was not about one race, not
Right.
about two races, not about three races.
It was
It's
about
called
all people in.
wait a minute. It's called the prison race, the prisoner race, the corruption, not a certain race. And some people, I won't say nothing, but they wanted to add certain things on the streets, police brutality, this, that, and the other. But
Yep.
it detracted and subtracted from the real deal, Holyfield message in Pelican Bay SHU is harboring human beings in concrete tombs 23 hours a day without a write-up for 20 fucking plus years. That was the message. It wasn't about one race or another. It was the message. And about all prisoners. That's what I wanted to add. So, I have my say there.
Well, yeah.
Now,
Yeah, no, I actually had somebody try to get me to delete stuff with Trayvon Martin. I mean, how left field can you get?
that has nothing to do with prisons, period. It has nothing to do with solitary confinement and keeping men in prison boxes for nothing other than a snitch saying he's an associate or he's a member.
Well, that individual on the streets actually was incensed that I would not include Trayvon Martin in our stand.
Well,
and I was just like, what the hell is wrong with people? What does that have to do with
I
anything
remember.
that we were doing?
No, it didn't, babe. It didn't. And it didn't have nothing to do with solitary confinement, Pelican Bay SHU, Corcoran SHU, prisoners. It had nothing to do with us. And, and that's what you're talking about, and I do know because I had a problem with it. A lot of us did because we're talking about all of us across the board inside these gates, these walls. That's it.
Right.
We're not talking about some shit happened in New York or some shit happened in Florida
Right.
that could be easily remedied on the streets. Well, we're not on the streets.
Right.
So let me ask you this, man, and we'll go ahead and close this up because I'm running out of questions. But, since you've known me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Since we've been together, do you see in me that big fucking scary monster that they claim I am? What is your opinion of that?
Now, okay. Excuse me. My dog is really pushing for some attention. When I first
So we'll get this done.
when I first met
Go ahead.
you, you were charming, funny, and as open a book as could possibly be, and easy to talk to. Easy to like, and I found you very easy to love, and there was a moment when when you and this what sealed the deal for me. I was upset one day. I was really upset, and
Okay?
you said to me, well, what's wrong with my baby? We got to fix this. We got to fix this. Not what the fuck's your problem or get over it or what most people would say. But you you saw me upset about something, and it could have even been you, but you knew
Right.
that you were more than willing to handle whatever it was that was eating my lunch. And and that was
Because I care.
huge because you care.
You
Now,
know. Mm.
I've heard all kinds of horror stories about you, and I know
I'm sure.
that you had to defend yourself that one day in Salinas. So I know you're a
I'm
brute,
sure.
and
Yeah.
you know, a real man, not one of these beta weirdos that are running around, but are the genuine real man, and I truly
Right.
believe they want to get rid of all types of like your type because you stand in the
Mm-hmm.
way of whatever the hell they're trying to do to society. But
Right. Right.
a monster, hell no. No, 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 no.
Well.
You have one of the biggest hearts and a pure heart. Folks, this man has a pure heart. Like I've never
Mm,
seen. Genuine to the core. I've never met anyone who had such an honest appreciation for what I do for him and
mm.
reciprocates in whatever way this world that we're currently in will allow.
Get on,
But
baby. Get on, baby. Girl.
you
Thank you,
know,
man. Thank you, baby.
the
Girl.
kindness in your heart and your soul. Um, if you ever had to act a monster, I'm sure
Mm.
it was because you were in some way in danger
Been
and
a threat. Under threat. Right.
threatened.
Right. Get
But
on, baby. Girl.
I don't see you even capable of misusing that. You know, even if
Right. Right.
you're living up to a certain code and it's being violated or whatever. Um,
Right.
I also know that since I've come into your life,
Yeah.
you go out of your way to avoid any type of conflict or any type of
Mm-hmm.
situation that would cause you to have to act that way. And
Right.
I
Well,
know
let
for
me
a
say.
fact that the incident in Salinas was absolutely self defense.
Right. Right. Well, you know, like I said, man, he came at me,
He
and
came at you.
I didn't go out looking for it. I know that. But let me say something. Every man in prison, level 4 man, shoot, whatever, whoever you are, wherever you are, you live this life more than 5, 10 years. You know, and I know. Yeah, your life can change in 3 seconds on these 180 yards.
Yep.
You know, point blank, 3 seconds, man. You can go from walking the yard, doing good, doing all your programs, seeing your family, your wife, your kids, you know, and eating ice cream and fudge cakes and whatever the fuck else you want to eat. And in a blink of an eye, you're caught up in a 90-man riot. 90-man riot. And you on the short end of the stick. 20 of you against 70 of them. And it is what it is. And sometimes you got to turn that monster mode, that beast mode on as fast as possible and survive that motherfucking shark fight, because that's how it is. But I thank you for your kind words, baby girl. And I hear that dog, man. He's about to turn into that beast here in a minute, because I can hear him. I've been hearing him. So,
he's been
you know,
he started out rude. I mean, he's just been a rude one tonight. I don't know what his deal is, but
yeah,
that's
man.
my boy.
He's wanting some attention. He's wanting some attention. He's that big beast. I love him. But I wanted to thank you, man. Thank you, baby girl, for enlightening folks a little bit about you. And they're going to learn more as we go along. I wanted to keep it here because we're past an hour already, and the dog's crying and kind of going nuts. But hey, folks, I got some new shit for y'all. We're gonna run some shit in a day or two, probably Sunday night, maybe if we got time. We'll do it on Sunday night. We got some shit I want to break down to you guys. I want to talk about that shit with Dr. Michael Sarah. And I found out some new shit on my medical stuff recently.
Well, and before we take off, thank you, Outlaw. Yeah. Outlaw says you're a freedom fighter, both Brant, both of you. Thank you. Yeah. Does anybody got any?
Man, right on, brother.
Does anybody got any questions?
Yeah, anybody? Yeah, matter of fact, let's do that. Anybody got any questions? We ain't no hurry. Matter of fact, we got a little time. As long as the dog lets us have it.
Oh, he's fine. He doesn't even get this bad usually. He's doing this for the camera.
Y'all got any questions? Outlaw News, my best. Tim, everybody. Paul G, Ken, everybody, man. I send mine to you worthy fellas. And
right on. Looking forward to learning more truth. Thank you. I guess no questions. Thank you so much, Tim, for stepping up and helping me monitor the chat room. I've never seen it blow up like that before, and that's okay. Whatever.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
It's what can we expect? There's always gonna be some trolls in the background. All right, folks. Thanks so much for listening to my story and my version of how this rolls. And thank you. Thanks. Paul G says we're great people. It's great to hear more about you guys. Thank you. I do appreciate it.
Paul.
And if anybody's interested in my artwork, I don't remember if I said this, but it's on my Instagram, and the Instagram link is on the information on our channel. And
but check out what my girl told you all a minute ago, and what I said on that description box in the last video on that guy Michael Sarah.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Dr. Michael Sarah, that's going to expose everything I've been saying. I mean that's proof positive right there, and that's from one of their own doctors, Dr. Allen. I send mine to the worthy. You know who you are. Have a good weekend. Hopefully Sunday night we can get on here and I can enlighten y'all to some other shit, man, that's going on that you guys need to know. Baby girl, I'll let you go ahead and end it out. I send my love and respect to the worthy, man.
Thank you. Thanks, Ken. Much love back to you. And Tim K, thank you. Outlaw, and Paul G, it's always good to see the folks who stand with us. And you know what to do. Gotta make us famous. Put it out there and help us get out the word. Y'all are awesome. Have a wonderful night. Wonderful weekend. Thank you. Good night.